almost every house in Ghana, every structure, I mean, with the exception of those that are built with glass and curtain walling and metal nowadays. Can a surveyor determine the quality of the blocks? Because sometimes poor blocks lead to shoddy, weak buildings that crack or even collapse.
Yes, the quality surveyor is interested in the quality product because he's supposed to pay for value for money.
Yes, but how do you figure out or assess the quality of the blocks in a completed building that's been plastered and painted and decorated?
When it's plastered and decorated, it's very difficult. But then, during the process of construction, there are certain basic rules of thumb that you use to check some of these quality products. And of course, the assessment might have been done by Ghana Standards Authority scientifically. But then there are rules of thumb that you use when you are going on inspection to see this is a quality block, this is not. You can even lift one and drop it easily. You can even look at the edges and trip them when you find them. But strictly speaking, blocks per se, if it's a reinforced structure, reinforced frame structure, they are not load bearing. They become basically protective.
Okay. Architectural rather than structural.
No, it's not structural, so to speak. And they are infills. And then they are supposed to be carrying maybe conduit pipes and then distribution of water lines and all that. So these are the issues. But strictly speaking, if they are load-bearing blocks, then you have to be very careful. And if you are going to buy, you must as well look at it from where you are buying from, whether he has the right certification and he has the proper mixes for these blocks.
La Basum says, to me, building would be the best thing despite all the huge cost in it. Well, what do you think? You can call in. The numbers are up on your screen, 763. You can see them right there, 0302. That's a landline. Just call in and share your questions, your comments, your thoughts, your observations, your feelings, what have you, with me and with my guest. Mr. Osei Asante is the past president of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, land surveyors, cost surveyors, quantity surveyors, real estate surveyors. These professionals can help you make the right decision on all manner of issues when it comes to buying land, building, putting up a building, building a home or an office or a commercial property, or even renting or buying a ready-made one. And I think I've got a first caller on the line. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
How are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling good.
Good. My name is Eric. What's yours?
I'm Elliot May.
Elliot. Okay, thank you for joining Sunrise. What would you like to share with me and with Mr. Asante and with our guests?
My question is, if you are buying a land from estate developers, are you supposed to go in with your surveyors and other stuff again?
Say that again, please.
If you are buying a land from estate developers, are you supposed to go in with your land surveyors and other stuff?
Great question. I think it's got to do, with trust. It's like if you're buying a car and you show up with your own mechanic. People who are selling the car say, hey, wait a minute. So what do you think of this? Going to buy a piece of land or going to buy a piece of property and you show up at once with your own surveyor.
If you have a lot of meat, it doesn't spoil the soup. What happens is that these are developers, qualified and licensed to develop real estate for sale. So naturally, one expects them to have the full complement of professionals within them. But me and you know that most of these developers don't have. You can count them, those who are into real estate developers, you can count the good ones. And if you go, they have warehouse offices with full complement of professionals. That one will request that you depend on. Some of them are members, and they are there qualified. I can count them for you, but I don't want to do any advice for anybody. But at the same time, there are one-man, two-man ones that become a problem, and it will be advisable when you are dealing with some of these things to have some level of professional advice.
So if getting the services, engaging the services of a professional surveyor is an optional decision on either the buyer or the seller's part, who is responsible for the concrete jungle that we see sprawling around our towns and cities, the haphazard development and all the issues that come with it?
There's supposed to be, there's a gap in our system, and that one on the previous occasion when I was here we were dealing with it. there's the need for the construction industry to be regulated. As of now, there's no agency regulating some of these things. And except those who want to do government projects, who are licensed by the Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Housing, or doing road works for Ministry of Roads and Highways. Those who are into private development,
you're not obliged to engage a surveyor.
Some of them are not even registered as contractors, and they are building. 10 years, 15 years ago, some of these things were not necessary, but now it is necessary that the private sector who are developing these massive structures, and some of them are actually building some of these massive structures, we need to regulate them.
Okay, well, I'll share an anecdote with you, but right after we take this caller, A.B. Nyako is joining us from Anomabo. Good morning, Mr. Nyako.
Hello, okay.
Hello, Mr. Nyako, good morning.
Fine morning, sir.
Welcome to Sunrise. What would you like to share with me, with our viewers, and with my guest?
But I want to share the conversation with you, but I want to try to speak fancy.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But me, Uncle Tor, land for 1958, 31st March 1958. But the witnesses of the land, no, I hear them and sunshine. One sunshine, but land in Jono, Ibia are correct. But if we should be about on him, my car, what's the our young one of us? This is the Kama. If we should have a channel. A channel once work or once work at the end. And more young one is that now. I don't know what from 1958 now. You can get the hour, don't know. If you want, but there was support the other side now. What on us? I answer you today. Okay, over my land. Be cooking papers now over land in there. So on your quarra, on them better to move to pay as some work.
Okay, thank you very much. I think my fancy is not advanced enough, but what I gathered is that it's got a legal issue. It sounded more like a legal issue to me than a quantity surveying issue. I don't know what advice you can give him.
Well, the issue is that I understand fancy a little bit because I was trained 7 years in the fancy land, so I can speak and understand fancy very well. What I can say is that it looks to me that the documentation was not complete.
So it's more of a legal issue.
Legal issue, witnesses are not there. But it will be interesting to know whether the land was acquired as a freehold or as a leasehold. Leasehold has the timelines, 49 years, 99 years. Freehold is for eternity. So these are the issues that we may have to look at it. So we have a branch, Ghana Institution of Surveyors have a branch in Cape Coast. And if you wouldn't mind if you can contact some of them, they will be able to assist them. There are a lot of surveyors in Cape Coast who can assist.
Okay, Promzi Nimak J disagrees with Labasum. Labasum says building is the best. Promzi says buying is the best. Once again, what do you think is best and why? Building or buying?
Strictly speaking, if you buy from a reputable developer who can assure you for quality,
you can lower cost.
You can lower cost. Because the inherent cost with actual acquiring your own land and building, and the stresses and the strains on your own health is there. I will always advise that people contact a very, very responsible developer. In Ghana here we have a lot of developers, good or bad.
How can we tell who is responsible? You are quite a surveyor. How do you know which developers are quote unquote responsible?
A very responsible should have an office that can be identified with the full complement of professionals in that field, and then that gives you the confidence that they will deliver and deliver properly. These are the issues. They should have a location that we can find them. You can see that their financial wherewithal is okay, their plant and equipment, their personnel is okay, and that they will deliver responsibly. And there are so many of them too, and they are delivering to people. There are so many people outside who have even paid money to people, developers, so-called developers, and They came to find Bella.
I'm still waiting for a good rent question from one of our viewers. Divine calling us from Adento. Good morning, Divine. Welcome to Sunrise.
Hello?
Good morning, Divine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, please. Can you hear me, please?
Welcome to Sunrise. I'm hoping for a rent question, but you can share whatever you have on your mind with me.
Okay. I'm Divine, and I offered architectural draftsmanship at KNUST. And I also did a course on surveying, industrial surveying. So am I qualified to? My question is, I want to know if I'm qualified to do the work.
Okay, that's a good question. I've come up on this before. You know, this apparent competition between engineers, architects, and surveyors. Each one saying, "I am the most important. I am the most critical." What are your thoughts on that?
Strictly speaking, I incidentally I don't have that thinking, you know, because I've come to realize that the construction industry must be composite. Everyone should complement each other, and the architects call them their dreamers. They get the design. The engineers will give it structural stability. The quantity surveyor will give the cost dimensions, and so we must work together. You know, so personally, and I think most surveyors have that mindset that we must be able to. No one institution or no one profession can be on its own and then.
It looks like Kumasi has followed you to Accra. We've got a call from Frederick. Good morning, Frederick.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Sunrise.
How are you doing?
Very well. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Your show is very interesting, and I would like to share my view.
Thank you. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Oh, the line is not too clear.
Yes, we must be in that 1%. Remember this, we're told that 99% of our calls are excellent and it's only 1%. But don't worry, I can hear you.
Do some more programs. Your network. Yeah, you are so special. I like you. Bye.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a good attempt. I'm still hoping for a question on rent. Have you ever thought about engaging a surveyor, an estate surveyor, if you are thinking of renting a property or part of a property? Mr. Asante is a past president of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. We are talking about building, buying, and renting, the services that a surveyor can offer to a prospective tenant or property owner, at what cost, in what time, and to what expectations. If you have a phone, you can call in. If you have an internet connection, you can post your question to TV3 Sunrise on Facebook. So earlier on you said that you think that surveyors should be a lot more involved in real estate development and in real estate construction business in general, but it is not mandatory. It is not mandated by law. Why, if surveyors are so important?
I'm not saying that surveyors should not be involved in real estate. It is those who are developing that should recognize the efforts that, or the good effort and excellent effort that surveyors are trying to play. In fact, if you look at the responsible developers in this country, you all go and find out they have major departments for surveying. Land surveyors are there, quantity surveyors are there, estate surveyors are there to help them to manage. You know, once they know the 3 steps, they become part of the professional team of the developer. You know, and I can assure you that our members are in very, very good positions in some of these. If you take them at development or the development corporation as a real estate developer, the managing director is a surveyor. You know, so these are the areas, and I don't want to go into the private sector where I will do an advert for somebody. That's why I'm limiting myself to Tema Development Corporation. If we go to the State Housing Corporation, they are there. There are a lot of.
We've got another call on the line. A lady calling us from Takrady. Good morning, Araba.
Good morning.
Good morning, Araba.
Good morning.
How are you feeling this morning?
Please, I wanted to ask if You are 100% assured if a surveyor checks your work for you.
Pardon me?
If you're 100% assured, when a surveyor checks your work for you.
Please be specific, Araba. When you say checks your work, what kind of work do you have?
As in, your building.
The building that you want to construct, to put up, or the building that you want to buy or rent?
I want to buy already. A building I want to buy already.
Very good question. So it comes back to how effective a surveyor is. Can a buyer be 100% sure of the quality of a property they're about to purchase or that they want to purchase if they engage the services of an estate surveyor?
Exactly. And it is the best form. I can say that, strictly speaking, what we call estate agency has not developed in this country. We have been haggling with this law for the past 20 years or so. What we call the estate agency law. I think it's somewhere between the Ministry of Water Resources and West Housing and the Cabinet. I think that's where it is now. I don't know the exact position. But if you go to Nigeria, for example, you realize that rentals and sales are advertised by qualified surveyors, and they hang their banners there with their, and then they say above a message and co.
Qualified surveyors.
Qualified surveyors. Into sales and to rentals.
What qualifies an individual to be a surveyor? The gentleman who called earlier that said that they had studied architecture and industrial design, and also had studied, some surveying, wanted to know basically what qualifies an individual to be a professional surveyor and to advertise their services as such.
Yeah, as of now, it is a Ghana Institution of Surveyors which actually qualifies surveyors. But ultimately, when the Survey Council bill becomes law, to be the Survey Council that will admit qualified surveyors. But as of now, we have a structured course for you to take to be able to become a professional surveyor and to practice surveying in Ghana. You have to go to school, and he has already gone to school. He has acquired the knowledge. It is up to the Ghana Institution of Surveyors to give him the skills. And here we are talking about you first becoming a trainee of the institution, attached to a recognized office, and then going through a minimum of 2 years of training and sitting for exams and then interview. Then we admit you. So easy.
So easy, yeah? Okay.